We'll cover Chrome, Brave, Firefox, Edge, Opera, and a few other notable mentions. Anyway, let's start. I'm gonna have to keep Chrome in, let's say, S tier. Now wait, let me explain. You see, Chrome has a lot of good things going for it. It has a buttery smooth interface, it has wide support for all kinds of web apps. It's a gold standard for the industry, right? Yes, there used to be a lot of problems with RAM usage, you've seen the memes, but I find that now it has become much better, especially with the memory optimization thing turned on. I did a side-by-side comparison between Brave browser and Chrome. I opened the same tabs, my content, my email, Instagram, the Copilot page, and some normal background music, and of course my cat. So these same tabs consumed less space on Chrome for some reason in RAM compared to Brave. And even though I use Brave browser for my personal usage, I'm gonna keep Chrome in the S tier because I've noticed some weird issues with Brave when it comes to YouTube video playback, especially in higher resolutions like 4K. I usually play videos in highest quality as possible, and Brave browser doesn't play them smoothly. Even videos in 1080p 60 sometimes struggle, but if I open Chrome without closing anything else, it plays smoothly. I have tried disabling all the extensions, I don't know what's going on. I've cleared cache and everything, so if you have any suggestions, let me know why Brave is acting up, and that's why I'm giving Chrome the S tier, otherwise it would have been Brave. Let's go for Brave now. I'm gonna keep Brave in the A tier, because it is fantastic. It has tons of features like a built-in wallet. They even have their own private search function called Brave Search, which is independent from Google and Bing. It has its own indexing, so it doesn't need any other service. So that's way more private than any other third-party search engine. You can use DuckDuckGo as well, but this is just as accurate. And of course, the Brave Shield is just an amazing tool. It instantly blocks scripts and cookies and everything. It's really handy. If it wasn't for that YouTube frame drops thing that I mentioned earlier, this would easily be S tier for me. Also, if they had fixed some of their features like the Brave wallet or the Brave rewards and everything, I think they're trying to do a lot, but most of it doesn't work well. As a tech lover, I would like to have more features, but I don't like to have that approach where most of them don't work. Regardless of benchmarks and everything, real world use is the final deciding factor, and Brave still lacks some polish in that regard. So even though it is my personal browser, I use it on my phone, my PC, everywhere. Still, I'm not trying to be personal here, I'm trying to be objective as I can. I'm trying to keep my opinions to the side, which is why it's A tier for now. What about Edge? Let's go to Edge. I would say Microsoft Edge is about C tier. Now wait, I'm not hating on Edge. It has become much better than before. It's snappy, fluid, tons of good animations. It loads web pages fast, and the RAM usage is about the same as Brave browser, which is to say slightly higher than Chrome, surprisingly, but not as bad as you think. I started using it from time to time because it has the Copilot function built in on the right side there. You can access it on any browser by going to this Copilot site, but it's handy to have it as a side panel because you can do your browsing and side by side search something. But the problem is it's not very secure at all. In fact, many research papers have given it the lowest score out there, which is why I don't trust it with my privacy, and also as long as this content page exists, I'm not gonna take it seriously. There is no excuse for a good quality browser to have this many junk built into it, which you have to disable, which is enabled by default for some reason. Nah man, Microsoft, until you get rid of that, I can't give it anything more than a C tier. Do you agree so far? Let me know. Now let's move on to a community favorite, Firefox. I would say Firefox is B tier. Now hold on a second. I would have given Firefox the A tier, but since Brave is already on A tier, if I say that, it would imply that Brave and Firefox are neck and neck, but they are not. Brave is better than Firefox. There are many advantages of using Firefox. It's independently developed by a not-for-profit company. It's not based on Chromium or anything. So it's a great community-centric product. Besides, they have other products too, like Thunderbird email. Well, that's what I used to use. Now they have even more stuff like Mozilla VPN and everything. That's all great, but the reason why I switched to Brave is because it kept giving me some issues here and there. Some sites that I visited on Firefox kept telling me to update my browser to the latest version, even though I was already on the latest version. Also, some multimedia elements in some websites did not seem to work as well. And I noticed that it seems to consume more RAM than Brave despite not even opening that many tabs. So memory management may be a mixed bag there. And also the UI doesn't feel as polished as Brave or Chrome to me. I get the company may not have as many resources as Chrome browser might, but still at the end of the day it makes a difference in your usability. And I also noticed they still have that telemetry data stuff enabled, which was kind of a concern a few years ago if you remember. That data basically tracks a few things like your usage activity, your session length and everything, which is enabled by default. So if you are paranoid about that, you have to go into settings and privacy policy to disable that. I mean, that wasn't my concern or the reason why I switched, it was the usability that made me change. If you're using Firefox right now, tell me what the experience is like. I may give it a second shot. Those were like the top 4 browsers that most people use, right? Now let's go for some honorable mentions. Let's start with Opera GX, the gaming browser. I made a video on this a few years ago when it came out. It's nice, it has a dope UI, it has some RAM and CPU limitation features so you can restrict CPU's usage on that. It has some built-in social media apps on the side, which is great. You can monitor your chat directly from there. But when I used it, there was still some privacy concerns regarding who owns Opera, and well, their extensions and all that were not up to date. It does have built-in ad blocking features, but some users have faced that it's not as potent as Brave browser. So if you're using Opera GX, you may have to install a secondary ad and cookie blocker. Like every time I switch out of Brave, I realize how messy the internet really is, because Brave protects me from all of that. And I've already mentioned that the sites that I care about, I donate to them directly, so I don't have to watch ads. But anyway, Opera GX can go in, say, B tier, or maybe C tier. Yeah, I guess I should keep Opera in C tier. B tier would mean it's on par with Firefox, and no, Firefox is better. One more browser that I tried was Vivaldi. I loved Vivaldi. It has this amazing tab stacking feature where you can stack layers on layers of tabs, useful for someone like me who opens a lot of pages. It has tons of customizations, like you can create workspaces and everything, and it has a pretty good set of privacy controls too. Now again, this has that same telemetry data related things, but I'm not too concerned with that, because it's not making any direct calls to Google or anything despite using Chromium, so I don't think privacy concerns are the main point here. The RAM usage in my experience was on par with Brave, which is to say slightly more than Chrome for the same set of tabs, but given how many features it has, maybe that's forgivable. I'm gonna keep Vivaldi in tier B. I would say it is on par with Firefox for now. It is partly open source and partly closed. It's not as great as Mozilla's pledge, but it's still good enough. It's already pretty privacy centric, but if they added a bit more script blocking features, I have no doubt that it can go as high as Brave as well, especially for non-crypto users. Anyway, that was kind of my tier list of these apps. If you have any other browsers to recommend, just leave them in the comments. I'll give a tier to that browser and I'll tell you why. Meanwhile, you tell me, is this list good or is it screwed up all the way? Let me know.